Alright, so we got Wednesday, February 20th here. I'm done work for the week. So, and I treated myself to, there we go, Cafe Artigiano. And why not? Tiny bag of chips. So, this is going to take some work. Today's a perfect example of some of the problems that I have just getting over the coffee, and let alone the other stuff, right? I mean, I kind of gave up a little bit today. Let's just move on till tomorrow. So first thing was I go to McDonald's, and this might have been yesterday anyways. I go to McDonald's first thing in the morning, about 4:15, 4:30 in the morning, ask for a small, and they say it's $1.05 no matter what size you get, so you may as well get a bigger one, right? So great, I got people convincing me to get a bigger one. I don't take much convincing, so medium it is. And then today, so I had a coffee in the morning, and it's my friend's birthday, and so I go and see him at work, 7 in the morning. So, and the first thing he says is, "Want a coffee?" And so, yeah, it's your birthday and I'll treat. So there's the second coffee. And by that time, by 8 in the morning, I've had a couple coffees and we're kind of back to the norm. So, yeah. And then we had a meeting around 12:30, and I got a little time to wait around. And there's a blend in the bloody rec center. So, want a coffee? Yeah, of course. So I'm gonna have that. And then I went to Artigiano after. So there's a normal day, honestly. Small or medium coffee in the morning, maybe another coffee around 8 in the morning, something around noon, and then something after work, right? I think that's it for me today. So 4 instead of 5. And then the bag of chips there, just a tiny bag of chips, pretty cheap. But, $1.05 for the morning coffee doesn't help, right? It's cheap. So, little things like today, my daughter got a muffin from someone who she comes to my work to see when she's swimming. And she ate a little bit. She's like, "Oh, I don't want it." And so she gives it to me. And so now I'm eating the muffin. And the problem is the muffin's really good. So these things right around me that are always on my way, always kind of, I'm part of the norm. I'm a creature of habit. And so it's just too easy to do the same thing again and again. And I think it's like the analogy of doing something like Alcoholics Anonymous in a kind of a closed off area. Everything's in a closed off area. You're kind of secluded for however long it is. You go through the program and you can succeed, and then they throw you out into the wolves, and then you have all of these temptations and everything, and you don't always have that person or that thing, that voice, whatever, to kind of stop you. So that's kind of the situation, and I recognize that in myself. Thankfully, my wife's going to be on board, and thankfully this doesn't start until March. I'm just still trying to cut down, but even that process is challenging. So on my days off, generally I probably do drink a little less coffee. But, we'll have to see. I mean, my goal is to kind of push this as long as I can through the day until I actually have something. I'm trying to kind of hit each one of my normal stops. I went to West of Java today, and so I think that'll probably be the last time, kind of saying goodbye. I went to Blends today as well, and trying to say goodbye to that one. Artigiano will probably be one of the last ones. I'll go for the cheap coffee. I said basically goodbye to Starbucks yesterday. Had my last reward and my last regular coffee, and I basically ran it out. Ran my app out. So I think that's sort of one of my strategies, just kind of work down so I have very few options if I do want a coffee, and then hopefully it's a little less. The last couple mornings, I haven't actually had the coffee on my way to work. I've gotten to work, done a little bit, and then come in. So it's been like, instead of 4:30, it's been more like 5:30. So trying to do that, I was hoping to get a little longer, but didn't work. So there's some of the challenges. we'll see how we do on our days off here. And like I said, it's more about the coffee, but the food too. So today I picked up, where are we here? There we go. Bison pepperoni from Whole Foods. It's not bloody cheap, but it's supposed to be quite good. And I believe, bison, pork, sea salt, spices, natural smoke, no sugar. So it's not regular pepperoni. I don't want to have too many cured meats, but this is one option, and it's tasty and it's a snack. I also made a huge batch of my stir-fry beef. Stir-fry beef that I use to make kind of beef jerky. So that's meant to be a snack as well, and that usually works, especially for breakfast. So there are things I do, and as we get a little closer, I think I'll talk more about that. Anyways, enough. This has gone on for a while, but it was very a lot of stuff to kind of digest and throw out there. All right.